Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new podcast called That Was Stupid. Candid conversations on taking chances and proving everyone wrong. I'm your host, Jon Seidl. We'll get into more about me in a little bit, but I wanted to give you kind of an introduction and preview of what this podcast is all about. And I think if you look up in the Podcast 101 handbook, they say this is what you're supposed to do. So here we go. I'm going to do it. This podcast is in audio format. It's also in video format on my YouTube channel at Jon Seidl, JONSEIDL. You can also find it on my website as well. You'll notice a couple things before we get going. If you're watching this, you see a big sign behind me that says The Veritas Creative, which does not say That Was Stupid. Well, The Veritas Creative is my company, and we are publishing this podcast under the banner of that company. Again, more about that in a second. So what is That Was Stupid? How did it come about? Well, listen, for the last probably 2 years, I have had a passion to do my own podcast. I have hosted other people's podcasts. I have been on thousands of podcasts myself. I'm a published author, and so I talk about my books on other people's podcasts, but I wanted something that I thought was unique and different. And so as I scanned the landscape, I didn't see a lot of great podcasts about taking chances, right? And so I took my own chance when I started my company, The Veritas Creative, that I mentioned earlier. And I know a lot of people have taken chances and they have panned out. But at the time, a lot of people looked at them and said, well, dang, that's stupid, right? And so I thought that phrase was always an interesting idea for a podcast. But as I was writing my books and as I was doing a lot of stuff in my digital consulting business, it's kind of like the cobbler's son always has no shoes, right? And so I was consulting people on how to do podcasts, how to build digital courses and build digital businesses. And in the back of my mind, I always had this idea. And so recently I had some time free up, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to finally go all in and start That Was Stupid. So I hired someone to do the music. My best friend in the world did the graphics, and I went for it, right? And so this is the culmination of that work. So what are you going to hear and see on That Was Stupid? Well, I want to interview movers and shakers for sure. I want to interview business leaders. I want to interview influencers. I want to interview anyone who has a story to tell, because in the end, that's what I am. I am a storyteller. And so you're going to see some names that you recognize. For example, we have Miss America coming up in our inaugural season. But you're also going to see people that you don't know, right? Maybe some just regular Joes and Janes who have done some incredible things that have panned out and either changed themselves, changed the world around them, their community. And I want to bring those stories to you. So that's what you're going to see and hear on That Was Stupid. So who am I, right? I mean, I'm just a guy. Maybe you found this on accident, or maybe someone shared a post, a video, and you're just kind of finding us and getting to know me. Well, listen, like I said, my name is Jon Seidl. I was born and raised in small town Wisconsin, just about 30 minutes south of Green Bay. I'm a huge Packers fan. I'm a Packers owner. So really, this is kind of an owner's podcast, I guess you could say. But I have been in digital media for going on about 15 years now, over a decade. And I got my start in the news business. When I left Wisconsin, I went to New York City, went to college in New York City, and started writing while I was in college and found out that it was something that I could kind of actually do. and worked for a magazine in college. And when I got out of college, I helped start a prominent news website. Did that for 5 years and kind of got burned out, right? Kind of the 24/7 news cycle was something that was really taking its toll on me. What I didn't realize at the time is I had undiagnosed anxiety and OCD, which helped contribute to that. And so I left the news business. I started working for a nonprofit called I Am Second, which again tells stories of transformation, and worked there for a little bit. I ended up then going to work with Mikey Sievers. You might know him as Mikey Sievers. I know him as Kirk Cameron, and helped build his digital business. Did that for a couple years, went back and dabbled in the news business, and then again realized, even though I was diagnosed with anxiety and OCD and was on medication and doing all the good stuff for my mental health, that still wasn't the best route for me. And so that's where my That Was Stupid moment came in. And I decided to convert my paying job into a client, and I started my own digital media consulting and content creation company called The Veritas Creative. And so what I do in that aspect is I help people build digital businesses. I help people write. I help people build their platforms, right? And so my passion is telling stories, and I've written a lot of them in my lifetime. At one point, it was over 6,000. I think by now it's probably over 8,000. And so now I want to take everything I've learned in storytelling and all my contacts that I have built up over the years, and I want to bring them to you. And I want to meet new people, and I want to meet new friends, and I want to meet you, and I want to hear from you, and talk about what you want to talk about. So, from a very practical perspective, we will be posting a new episode every single week with a new person. And so again, some of those people you might know, some of them you may not, but all of them will have great, incredible stories where there was a that was stupid moment, right? And I told you my own that was stupid moment where I started my own company, and there was a lot of fear there, right? It wasn't something that I knew was going to be a slam dunk, but I bet on myself, and it ended up working out. And now I have the time to do things like this podcast. That was stupid. So I am so excited to have you along for the ride. If you ever want to get a hold of me, please just email guest@theveritascreative.com, guest@theveritascreative.com. And so send me ideas, right? Send me feedback. Send me good comments, bad comments. I mean, I'd love if you limit those because hopefully you won't have a reason to send bad comments. But if you do, you can send them to guest@theveritascreative.com. And honestly, the biggest thing, if you like the show, I mean, you haven't listened to an episode yet, but when you kind of fast forward and go to an episode, and if you like it, please subscribe to the show. It is available on all podcast platforms and my YouTube channel as well. Again, that's at JonSeidl. And I would just be honored to have you as a loyal viewer. So that's kind of the gist. That's who I am. I live now, I guess, in Frisco, Texas. Not I guess. I mean, I do live here. I live in Frisco, Texas, which is a northern suburb of Dallas. I'm married to my wife, Brett. I have 2 kids, a 7-year-old Annie and a 5-year-old Jack at the time that I'm bringing this to you. We have 2 dogs. One of them we've had for as long as we've been married, which is about 14 years. I told you I'm a Green Bay Packers owner. I love the Green Bay Packers. I love all things Wisconsin. I actually, believe it or not, I have a Wisconsin tattoo on my chest. And depending how, quote unquote, stupid this podcast gets, maybe you'll see it someday. I don't know. So that's me, right? And so if you're seeing this episode, I'd love to hear more about you in the comments, and I will try to respond to everything that I can. If you think this is a great idea, please not only subscribe, but share it. If you like the guests, if you like the clips, follow me on social media. I'm at Jon Seidl on almost everything. And then we'll also have some specific social media handles for That Was Stupid on Facebook and Twitter. So please like, share, follow, subscribe, all the things, and give us a listen. Give us a chance, right? Please, just give us a chance. I'd love to have the honor of having you again as a regular listener. So appreciate you. As you finish this, listen to the next episode. I'm releasing the first episode along with this introduction, and I would love to hear your thoughts. We'll talk soon.